Okay, for segment 2 today, I am going to be covering the Rifter number 19. You all loved so much how I did the last one. No, you didn't. I did the last one that now I'm going to do another one here. And this first video is going to be an overview of what's in the Rifter number 19. Lots and lots of good stuff. And I bet you some of you are even going to complain about the ones that I dive into in the next 2 segments. But it is what it is. Right now, I don't even know why you're watching this video. You should be going and buying this PDF for this book because there's a lot of good things in here. And then in the next 2, the follow-up segments, in the next 2 videos, we're gonna cover the Q&A, and we're gonna cover wand magic, how to create magic wands, mostly for Palladium Fantasy, but it will also be Beyond the Supernatural, Heroes Unlimited, and so forth as well. But before we do that, let us talk about boom. Oh, did I not present? I did not present. Share screen. I don't need audio. Rifter 19. Boop. There we go. All right, there's our Rifter 19. Not really a fan of this art. Your mileage may vary. I know, like, anytime I talk bad about somebody's art, people jump out of the woodwork all over the place. Like, it's really good. Okay, if you think it's good, you think it's good. I don't.
Well, it reinforces the fact that female armor is better than male armor because nobody hits the female anywhere except her armor. In this case, her clothing.
Chainmail bikinis rock, dude.
Yeah,
I'm not against them.
They only hit metal. Sorry.
Right? Yeah, that's right. Okay, so let's just get to table contents because that is what we are going to be talking about here. Slide that over. Page 6, we got some art. Okay, whatever. From the desk of Kevin Simbita, what do I have here? It says read the entire first column. Uh-oh. Why am I doing that? By the way, I read this earlier this week, so I probably don't remember anything. From the desk. Okay, what is the Rifter? Why did I care about that? Oh, okay. No. I'm not going to read this, but I know why I wanted to. Basically, what this says is like, hey, you can submit stuff to the Rifter. We want you to submit stuff to the Rifter. In fact, if you think you've got a great Palladium idea, stop trying to get something published as a book. Just submit it for the Rifter. Sean said this when he's been on. Kevin said this when he's been on. And it talks in here about it doesn't have to be a large. It can be 4 to 8 computer page. Oh yeah, computer pages. It can be 4 to 8 pages. It can be for any game. It could be a whole adventure. It can be characters. You know, sometimes the people think that they have to write an entire book to get something submitted. No, maybe when you look at the wand section today in video number 3, you're going to see that that's only 4 pages, 2 of which is fluff, and only 2 of which are items. There are only like 5 or 6 wands that it talks about because it doesn't need to talk about more. It doesn't have to be huge. So don't be a chicken. Write something today. There you go. So that's from the desk of Kevin Simbita. Next, what do we got? Palladium news, convention hype. Talks about upcoming conventions and the fate of the collectible card game. And by this point, I mean, what year are we in? We're 25 or 23 years later. Yeah, no. Coming attractions, upcoming books with an emphasis on recon. Yeah, this was kind of a recon heavy, not with articles so much, but a recon heavy advertised book. What would I do with 2 million CCG cards? Well, he basically did a contest and gave them away. That's what he did. Gave them away to different people who submitted different things, different ideas. Some of them were kind of funny, like make a big card house. So one guy made like said he was going to make like a outfit out of it, things like that. And he's like, okay, you win. Gave it to 5 people. Page 21 is Q&A. This is what we're going to be talking about in the next video. Now, you're going to be disappointed when I say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I haven't read through it. It's a Q&A. But here's what I did notice. The answers are long. So I bet you the questions are either going to be really good or really bad.
Nice.
I don't know. I mean, it's a Q&A. I didn't feel like I really needed to read that before going into it since we always read all the questions anyway. Then the other thing I'm going to cover in video 3 is wand magic for Palladium Fantasy. Again, it says for Palladium Fantasy, but you really can implement this where you want with just a couple of tweaks.
Yeah, and any of the Palladium worlds that have magic, you can do this.
Yeah, and it's short, but I thought it was interesting enough. Now, we're going to go through a couple other topics here in a moment that I'm going to say what's in this book and be like, why didn't you cover that instead? Because we've already covered things like that. And so I want to do something that we just hadn't talked about before. And I feel this is that's a good one. Palladium Fantasy RPG, the magic of Ophid's Grasslands. If you want to know more about that and the magic that goes on there, it's like growing wheat magic. That's actually a spell. So there are better spells than that. But if you want to know more about it, there are a bunch of new spells in there. You can check that out. The Palladium Fantasy RPG by Lance and Speed of Wing. This is all about aerial mounts. I was tempted to cover this one, but again, I only have 3 segments, especially with as long as these read-throughs go. So I had to pick something that I thought was a little more interesting. But if you want to ride a Pegasus or something else that flies, I don't know, dragonfly or something, go ahead and read. No, there's no dragonfly in there. Somebody's going to call me out on that. But it's got flying mounts in there and how to handle charging rules with that. Like you're going to go try to have, play Joust, the old video game, except for you want to do it Palladium Fantasy. It's got rules for that in there. Excuse me one second. All right, now for the Palladium Megaverse, that means it's for everything. You have Go Mental. So this is... So you know that you have physical attributes or not physical, sorry. You have physical skills like weightlifting, acrobatics, and so forth that can raise your physical attributes. You can raise your physical prowess, your physical strength, and so forth. Well, this gives you a list of ways of increasing your IQ, your mental endurance, your mental affinity, and even your physical beauty. But as Heathen Dog said off screen, no, those aren't just reading a book and you get prettier. It's actually things that you have to do, like use a little conditioner in your hair or something. But it dives into things that you can take. Some philosophy classes that includes that'll increase like your IQ and MA. You can just read a lot. I think that increases just your IQ, if I remember correctly. Look it up, you'll find it there. But I know a lot of people have complained when it comes to Palladium, like, hey, I can raise physical skills. I want to raise my mental skills too. And in the real world, you can do that. It takes a little longer, takes a little more dedication, but you can do it. Well, guess what? You're giving up skill slots for that purpose. I don't think that there's anything wrong with these. So, whether you like one, some, none, all of them, you can add that to your game. Now, continuing on with mental stuff, we're going to talk about rifts. We're not all mind readers, Well, there's this new term called the eruptor. And that's basically what a burster is. And I think Heathen Dog covered a freezer. Was that what it was called? No. The sparker or sparkler or zapper or whatever the heck it was.
The electricity variant.
Yeah, the electricity variant. Well, this one adds even more variants, including the blaster, the freezer, oh, yes, and the soaker, which I'm guessing is only good against vampires. Palladium vampires, that is. But it gives them abilities. It gives,
or children at a birthday party.
Or children at a birthday party. You keep the slip and slide wet. The sprinkler. All right. Anyway, but you can probably find. Look, I actually like these. I know they may sound silly. They have really dumb names, but I actually like them. I like variations on a theme. So, yay, there's a burster. So one guy can throw fires. Well, I like to play elementalists in games like Dungeons & Dragons and so forth. I think it's the Warlock in Palladium Fantasy, if I remember correctly. I like playing with elements. So adding in those elements in here and maybe being an ice mage versus psychic in this case, but versus, fire mage. I like the fact that they added them. I just wish they didn't have dumb names. Coalition support vehicles. That's really all it is. It's APCs. So what did I write down in here? Oh God, I actually had a lot more notes that I probably should have been looking at. Too late now. I already passed it. So yeah, it's got APCs. It's got decontamination units. It's got electronic intelligence and command. It's got flying gunships, and it has a bunch more than that as well. So if you want some more coalition support vehicles, useful. Not core book material, I get that, but I'd say they're useful vehicles to add to your game. Then you're going to want this Rifter. Hammer and Forge, didn't read it. I'm not gonna read any of those. I mean, I'd have to start with number 1, and we're on number 19 now. So, system failure. Fort Folsom. This is pretty much just a location. It's a location, little mini adventure for you. What I have here, new location and a community of mountaineers who oppose the bugs. And it's definitely great for a location-based adventure, a respite for the characters, and or just ideas for you to expand upon if you like the location or want to use the idea of the location. But I was really happy to see that there's something for systems failure. Not that it's the best Palladium game out there, but I do think it is a game that deserves more input and I think can be fleshed out more. So I'm happy that was put there. And by the way, Todd Yoho, isn't he the guy that did Dinosaur Swamp? I think he's the guy that did Dinosaur Swamp. So, all right, he did a good job with that one. Nightbane, what is Demon Hunters? I don't remember this one. Oh god, I have a lot written. Demon Hunter RCC. It's actually for Nightbane, Beyond the Supernatural, Heroes Unlimited, Ninja Superstars, Rifts, Palladium Fantasy, and Mystic China. Basically everything except for Rifts. Okay. Abilities to sense and sense and hunt supernatural beings. When he kills a supernatural creature, he drains the PPE into himself to use in various ways.
Uh-oh.
Right? Dark Riders are fallen versions of demon hunters who side with the demons. They basically like, man, you know what? Let's join forces. Yeah, they're kind of jerks. Similar abilities as a demon hunter with insanities, minions, and requirements to answer the call of the demon master. So if you think that, no, I'll be one of these bad guys, I have more freedom. No, you don't. And there's a GM eyes only section here too, which I mean, I get it. It's a magazine. You kind of can't put that in another book somewhere, but you know all your players are going to read it. So, and then finally, you got Chaos Earth, part 3 of 5. He just goes into more stuff on Chaos Earth here before the actual book is printed, and yeah. So
all of this either exists in a different form or was cut to the actual publication, which came out years ago.
Yeah, so what I'm going to backtrack on the go mental part. So the philosophy skill adds 1 to IQ and 1 to ME. Literacy studies adds +2 to IQ, and I have other notes there, but I basically covered that anyway. So that gives an idea of what's going on. So that's what's in this Rifter. Honestly, a lot of good stuff depending on what you're looking for. You know, flying mounts. A lot of players like look, especially when you get higher level, you kind of want some flying mounts, right? You got those mental OCCs. Or psychic OCCs that can expand upon what the burster is. So instead of you having to figure out how to do it on your own. Now remember, this is a Rifter, so that means it's not necessarily canon, but should be usable. I don't think Kevin would put it in there if it wasn't usable.
Yep.
So maybe he would. But that's it. I mean, I don't really have to dive into this more, so I don't know what we have for comments. But
for comments, mostly people were talking to each other, but there was one that you have to go to the cover again.
Uh-oh. The chainmail bikini?
Yeah, well,
chainmail t-shirt.
Yeah,
t-shirt, bikini, whatever. The half shirt. There we
go.
go.
Aura is an Armor of Ithyn spell. Yes, it is, which makes it more funny that it's still only hitting her clothing. Because the Armor of Ithyn covers the entire body, even the parts that aren't clothing. But damn it, if she's still not just getting hit in clothing. And I have a funny feeling that if she was wearing a bikini, it would only be hitting the cloth portion as well.
Well, I hope to see you for the next 2 where we go into the Q&A. One of the things I've noticed about these Rifter videos, whether Heathen Dog covers them or I cover them, is that people watch the first one to see what the table of contents are. I hope right after that you guys are going to buy a Rifter, whether it's off a drive-through RPG or a physical book off a Palladium site if they still have it. Because the second and third videos don't always get as many views, which I find a little bit interesting because that's where we're diving into some of the content here. So I hope that's what it means. But next, we're going to go over that Q&A that I didn't read that has a lot of long answers. So maybe we're going to answer a question that you've always had that's burning. It's burning in your heart of hearts as to why does Palladium do something or how to do something in the upcoming segment. So please like, subscribe, and share for that next video.